Hello folks, Simulation for the Nation here. Today we are looking at everything you need to know regarding cows for FS25. We're going to go through the different types of breeds, the different types of pastures you need, feeding, productions, and everything else that you can think of in between there as well. So buckle yourself in. If you like this kind of tutorial, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more as well, and we'll get on into it. Now, the first thing we're going to look into are the cattle themselves. So to do that, what we're going to need to do is have a look at this little pasture here. And we're going to walk on all the way through. We've placed this one down. We're going to get onto that in a moment as well. I'm going to come to our little animal logo trigger here. And here you go. So you've got the 4 different types of cattle. You've got Brown Swiss, you've got Holstein, Angus, Limousin. Water Buffalo as well, similar principle applies. But today we're just going to focus on the cows. Now, you'll see inside each different breed, you've got 3 different age groups. You've got day-old calves, you've got 6-month-old, and you've got fully grown 18-month-old cattle as well. Now, what we want to look into, all of these different types, they're kind of split into 2 different groups. You'll see you've got your Brown Swiss and your Holsteins are dairy cattle. These breeds are used for dairy farming and producing milk, cows like grass, hay, TMR. Additionally, they require water. These ones here are your Angus and then your Limousin. They are breeding for beef, so you don't really have the same requirements there. Note particularly that they are bred for profit and can be sold. So essentially, you're fattening these up, especially you get the younger ones, into fully grown heavy calves or heavy cattle, and then you're getting them out there and selling them for a profit. Now that does have a few knock-on effects, because this right here is one of the initial pastures or animal husbandry buildings you can buy. So we'll have to have a look into that before we start to go too much further. As you come into your into the production menu, you're going to come down to cows. Now you can have just a generic pasture, which is great. Now this is a breeding pasture, so again, it's that's going to be quite key. That's going to be coming into play quite a lot. You've got large breeding pastures, such as the one that we've got there, or even this larger one here. And the reason that I make a reference to this is because if you put this down and you put Holsteins or Brown Swiss cattle into here, you won't produce milk. So if you're going after dairy cattle and dairy production, you need to make sure you get the correct barn setup. Something like this one right here. Or even coming on down, you've got the larger ones here as well. So these are the good ones you want to have. If you are just looking for generic beef production, then any of the others will suffice, including the one that we have right here. So that's important to make sure you note. So with that in mind, we're going to fill this barn here with beef cattle. So we're going to go for, let's just say, we're going to get a handful of the very young, the day-old calves. That's 10 of those. We'll get a handful of the 6-month-old. Let's get like 10 of those as well. And then we'll get a handful of the 18 months old. Now, you'll notice that we are paying, this is the price for a fully grown 18-month-old cow, but there is a delivery fee per head of £100, euros, or dollars. If you want to avoid that one, you can go to the auction house or the animal mart or whatever you'd like to refer to it as and pick them up directly for free. But for the sake of the time, we're not going to do that. And we'll get 10 of those as well. So first thing to notice is they're all here in the pasture. We got some little ones, and then we got some big ones, which is all very cool. I love seeing them all bounce around. You can see the clear size difference between your 0-day-old, where they're struggling on the feet there, to 6-month-old calves that are bouncing around, starting to get a bit of mass, and then the big ones, the brutes. I really like, it's worth saying here, I really like the changes to the livestock model. The cows look fantastic. The animations are superb. The calves just struggling on the feet there. It's just brilliant to see. Really, really good. But you've got them now, so now you need to feed them. And that's what we need to look into. So, first things first, there's a few different ways that you can feed them. What we'll do is come on down to our animal menu here, inside the main menu. We're on cow barn. If you have other husbandry units set up there, you can toggle between them and it'll show you the differences. But because we've only got this one, this is all we've got. It gives you all the information you need to know there. It gives you your health and reproduction. We'll cross that one off very soon. And then you have quantity of straw, you have the quantity of food broken down there as well. Now, it's important to notice, and this is a huge change for FS25, you can feed all these individually, and you can even just feed them silage on their own straight out of the bale or straight into the feeding trough. Haven't been able to do that before. It used to drive me crazy that you couldn't, but now you can, and I think it's just a real big game changer because it's a lot of what a lot of people have wanted to do, and it's now an option to feed wrap bale silage, unwrap the bale, stick it into the shed. Fantastic. Worth pointing out though that this is the total capacity that you're feeding. So let's say if this was 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be 5,000 liters in there. The brackets of the effectiveness. The most effective and efficient way to feed your cattle will be through total mixed ration. But of course that takes quite a little of production, quite a lot of costs. So each of these have slightly less productivity rate and effective. Each of these have a slightly lower efficiency rate when it comes to your cattle growth or milk production. And it'll show you in the brackets how efficient it is in comparison to total mixed ration. So for your hay and your silage, that's quite good. At 80%, that's not too bad, especially when it's a lot cheaper to make hay than it is to make silage or anything else that you'll need for total mixed ration. Grass and meadow. Grass would be just like feeding fresh grass straight from a field into your trough. And meadow is actually pretty cool. It's this. This actually accounts. They do get some feeding from this, which is pretty awesome, but not enough. As you can see, it's only 40%, so you need to be able to supplement that. What we do also need to do, you'll see our health is 0, our food is 0, and our meadow and straw are also 0 as well. So we need to get after that. So what we're going to do is feed them. Now, we've got a feeding wagon around the corner, but for right now, because I want to do it, and I haven't got tired of doing it yet, I'm going to feed them a bale of silage. It's been something I've wanted to do for so long, so we're going to stick in the bale of silage here. We don't need 2, so we'll stick 1 over here out of the way. And then quite simply, you can either come through here and feed with a feeder wagon, or there's a bale trigger in here as well. So we're just going to do that. Open those up. And we're just going to simply drop it. You have a marker in the middle of the pen there. You could just drop it right down there, and then it will disappear. There you go. And you can see that you're starting to see some feed coming into the trough there. So now, as you come on in there, you'll see you've got 5,016 litres of food, which is good. The health remains at 0 though. That's because we need to get straw in here. Before anything's going to change, this pasture and this building has to have straw. So let's get after it. We're going to pop on over around the corner here. Fortunately, we're right next to the dealership where we've got everything parked up, which is good. We'll jump into our tractor with the straw shredder on there, and then we will get some straw into here. So you have your blower on the back here. You've also got your bale of straw sat in there nicely as well. We're going to come on into the shed, and then it's going to give you the start overloading, which is exactly what we'll do. And out comes the straw. It's going to be 4,000 litres going into there, which should get this looking pretty good. And just in case you're wondering as well there, you can of course blow your straw in with a straw blower, but you cannot leave the bale there like you would for any other feed. It has to be blowing in. Right now though, you can see that the health is starting to climb. That's because we've put the straw in there, so all of the attributes needed are in good condition. So as long as you keep the food and the straw above 0, the health should be good. That's very important because when you come to look into selling your produce and selling your animals, you need to have them in a good health condition to be able to achieve the best price. Otherwise, you will get a much lower price, which is going to really impact your bottom line. As you can see, though, now things are looking pretty good. So what we're going to do here is just fast forward a little bit and see what we look like on the next day. All right, so it's the next morning there, and you will see that because we've still got plenty of food left, we've got plenty of straw left, and it's also now recognized that the meadow, the animal health is leaping up. We're at 66% already, which is fantastic there. So that should continue. The meadow grass will take a little bit of time to register with each animal, but it's coming through. So if we look at our animals themselves, right now you'll see that are 1 month old, so they're not even 0, they're now 1 month old there, and their health is looking good, and you'll be starting to get a little bit more money for them there now as well. 274. You can sell these at any point in time that you would like, but obviously it makes more sense to hold on to them for a longer period of time to fatten them up to make the most money. But it's all up to you really. You can sell some of them to depend upon your cash flow, but it's a nice thing to have to be able to change them around. Now we're going to look into TMR in just a moment here, but we're putting straw in, and we want to get one of the benefits of using straw bedding is that you want to get muck out, so you can use that as fertilizer. But we need to put down one of our placeables because we need a muck midden really. So we're going to come on into your placeables here. We're not in sheds. We're going to be in silos. And there it is. So, as long as you own the ground, you can go and stick this anywhere close, and it will be able to find it. Maybe not quite there. Well, if we do there, let's turn it around 90 degrees. And then we can stick it just there. Perfect. Okay. And then, because I have to do this. There you go. That looks better. And now you got your muck bin. So you can get in and out there. You can start to spawn your muck there too. So we're going to leave that to do its thing. We'll take the Massey back on over because we're going to look into TMR now and show you what that entails. Because like I've mentioned, that is the most efficient way to feed your animals. And it makes sense to get the most out, the most bang for your buck when you do come to feed those livestock there. So let's have a look into that. So as I mentioned, Total Mixed Ration, TMR, is the most efficient way to feed your livestock. And it consists of hay, silage bales, straw, and mineral feed. Now, there is a mixture and a balance of the ratio that you need to achieve for that, but don't worry, it is all listed out here on your feeders. As you get close to it, you'll see this mix and ratio appear just under the F1 menu. So you want to get those white dots into the red. It's nice and easy to do, and we're going to get cracking at it right now with what we made earlier. So the feeder is on, it's turning, which is good. We're going to leave that. If you want to do it that way, be sure to make sure that you have your engine, automatic engine start disabled in the system menu. Here's one I made earlier with both my hay and silage bales. So let's get this one in. With what is an absolutely superb Fendt may I add. Really, really good. As you can see, it's a lovely misty morning here as well. It's only 7 o'clock. But let's get these tipped in here. Didn't like 2 at a time, but that's fine. We'll just do that. And there you go. You can see already the white dots bang in the middle. That's exactly what we want there. So let's go on over and get a bale of straw. Now it doesn't need quite as much straw, which is why I'm using round bales as it does hay and silage. And last but not least there, it is mineral feed. Now, this is another little change up for the release of FS25. In years gone by, you would take your pallet here, as crudely as I have it on my fork, and you would just hover it over the top of the feeder wagon, much like you would for your, fertilizer drills, spreaders, seed drills, that kind of thing. But no, what you actually have to do is put it near the feeder, come on into here, and it was at the very top of the controls you have refill mixer wagon there. And what that will do is fill you up with all of your total mixed ration. You can see there it goes, it's all disappearing. So you actually have to manually press those buttons there. As you can see though now, we are all in the green. We have total mixed ration here, and we've got about 19,000 litres of the stuff. So let's go and truck that in. It's worth pointing out at this point as well, if you're working to a tight budget here, or you're in the hard economy, any kind of feeding or any kind of cattle, the initial setup is expensive. You're going to need tractors, you're going to need a loader, you're going to need machinery to make your silage perhaps, you're going to need to buy in straw, or all these different things. If you're doing dairy cattle, you need a water bowser as well to make sure you feed them properly. All of these things add up. So where you can cut those corners maybe is start with beef cattle only, because you don't necessarily need to go quite as far. So it is very much worth considering. Once you're in the pen again, you can unload, and there goes your total mixed ration. We're going to stop it around about here because we're going to need the rest of it for later on. But yeah, as you can see now, your feed trough is in there and it's all looking good. So as you can see there, we're nearly into the second month there, and the 1 month old have already gone up by another about 100 pounds, euros or dollars. So the price is really escalating because we have got a lot of health. We're at 100% healthiness there. So they're flying, they're really growing. These 7 months old as well, really putting on the weight and filling out, which is what you want to see. What we're going to do though, is have a look into this in October though, with a little bit of dairy. So it's a very wet October morning here. However, our livestock are looking good. As we come on close here, you'll see our info menu pops up when you get close to the barn. And there we are, 100%. We're looking really, really healthy there, which is fantastic. First thing we're going to do, though, is we've built a new dairy shed. Now, this shed over here has been set up so we can have dairy cattle in, and we bought our cattle to go with it as well there. So the main differences here is a few things to note about the dairy cows if you want to set up your farm for immediate success. Ignore the terrain variations there. I just stuck it down for the sake of getting it in. But here's your dairy cattle. There are 60 Holsteins there. Oh, looking very good. And we went for... Let's just stop here, come over to our shed. Open door. Open gate. There you go. We've gone for the largest Holsteins actually. We have gone for the 18 months old. They are expensive, but you'll see to buy them in right now, if we went for Holsteins at 18 months, they're $11.75. But because their health is at 0, I only get £465 back if I sold them. So it's a huge loss. And that's because these are all at 0. So we need to get these going. You'll see because you need to put water in here as well, that you will produce slurry. So that's a key thing. But what we're going to start with, because we got it on the back here, is some TMR. We'll get them fed up there and get them feeling good. Bring some water into here as well, and then we should be away. So we're just going to start with a bit of this. Out goes all of our lovely TMR there. It's also worth pointing out though that you can still buy these the day-old calves and the 6-month calves, but they don't start producing milk until they are at 18 months old. So that's what you've got to really consider here, because otherwise you're not going to get much out of them. So that's what you need to do. And also, if you want to really continue to expand your dairy farm, you want to be able to reproduce, and they're not going to do that till they're 18 months old either as well. So it's a mixture of what you want to do. However, you'll see that the health is already at 10% because we've given them some food, which is good, efficient food. So, and they're already starting to produce 27 litres of milk. We are on to a winner, boys and girls. Put a bale of straw in here. You don't have to. You can keep it slurry only because this barn is on slats there. And if you do put straw in, it's my understanding that the amount of slurry you produce will drop a little bit. But for this purpose, we're going to bring this on in. Probably going to have to turn it around. No, we're okay. Putting a little bit of straw. There's your milking machines as well, which is pretty nifty. Let that continue. And you see, milk is coming in well. Slurry's already been produced at 625 litres too. If you want to empty out your slurry, you'll come around the corner here, and it would be at the end. It's that big pipe there. Just drive underneath with your preferred machine, and you're good to go. But yeah, so the health will continue to climb. It doesn't climb instantaneously, but it will continue to creep up there. Now, all we need to look into here right now is make sure that everything is filled up. Again, the meadow will take a little bit of time, but that will be all good. That'll come through. Now, some pastures will ask for water. For example, if we build another one here quickly, and we'll come back on into animals. This basic one right here will want you to put in some water. So if I just come on over here, past the area that's restricted, and put that about there. We're going to build out our own fancy little fence. If you want to see more about dynamic pastures, there is a video about that one out on the channel now. Go check it out. You want to make that? Yes, absolutely. You'll see there is a water trough here. That means, and if you see that symbol, that means you will need water, otherwise your animal health will drop. So please bear that one in mind. Otherwise, bale and silage feed goes into there, and then you can purchase your animals through the end there as well. Now, what I want to draw attention to one more time is we're just going to speed up time a little bit as we see what happens with our animal health in this particular building. Every hour you're going to see it kick up there. We've got another 10% because we're all full. Milk is now increased as well, so you're already starting to produce. You're getting a little bit of bang back for your buck there, which is great. And you'll see as it continues to go up and up and up, which is fantastic. It's really what you want to see. That means if we have a quick look at it already, over here, we're already at 700, so we've gone from $435 to sell your livestock to $744 just because you're keeping them fed and healthy there. So I cannot emphasize that enough. Right now, though, you'll see that we're looking good. Slurry's building up there. You've got plenty of straw in there too, and they're looking happy and healthy. And that, folks, is how you look after your animals. You can sell your milk off at the dairy there like you would normally if you have water buffalo, then you can even make buffalo mozzarella, I do believe, which is quite exciting. Otherwise, though, you can sell everything off here and you'll be all good to go. Your slurry you can actually take to a production chain in the biogas once again, and you can store it in there and sell it off there to make extra money. But that is something to explore in a different video around production chains. So I hope you have enjoyed this video around about livestock and cows in particular. Do let me know what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, and what you'd like to see as we continue to make more and more videos. My name's been Simulation for the Nation. If you have enjoyed this too, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.